deal? It's your boy Norbs, and this is the 10-8 podcast. And I know I haven't been around, but I told you guys, I promised you guys every Wednesday I will go live in regards to boxing. I'm fixing a lot of the programming that we're working on now, but we're going to cover today is the criticism that Devin Haney has been facing in regards to his lawsuit with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fought on 4/20, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan Garcia tested positive for aspirin. Proceeded to defeat Devin Haney in emphatic fashion. And September 26th or the 27th, I don't remember which date it was exactly, Devin Haney filed in the court of New York State, I think it was the federal court, he filed a lawsuit against Ryan Garcia and Golden Boy Promotions. And a lot of people have been critiquing him, a lot of his peers, a lot of individuals in the boxing community. And it's been crazy. People calling him a sucker, saying it was a bitch move, all types of different criticisms. People are saying it hurt his stock. And I'm kind of witnessing all this, and I'm seeing it. And I don't see anything wrong that Devin Haney is doing. In fact, I commend him for standing up and doing it the right way. And I think people have to understand, okay, what's transpiring in this situation. Now, I'm going to play some of the audio of some of the criticisms that have been sent Devin's way. And I mean, listen, it's kind of crazy. As many people have an opinion on this situation and have been extremely highly critical. I'm going to play one right now. I'm not going to play the visual of it. I don't got my new setup yet. I do, but I haven't mastered it yet. But I'm going to play the audio right quick so you guys can actually hear it. And this is actually Timothy Bradley. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the Hall of Fame boxer Timothy Bradley speaking on it. Now, a couple things I took from that audio. One, yes, he did sign on to a fight. And, the battery charge, whatnot, people are like, Timothy saying, oh, you signed on to fight. And yeah, he did sign on to fight Ryan Garcia. That is absolute fact. But what he didn't sign up for was someone that was on a performance-enhancing drug. That's the fact. So right then and there, and I'm going to bring on a lawyer sometime this week or next week and kind of break down everything. But right down and there, that's not what he signed up for. He then proceeds to say, you got paid for him not making the weight. Yes, making the weight and actually being on something is two completely different things. Yes, he got paid for that. He didn't get paid for Ryan Garcia to test positive for a banned substance and then fight. That's another thing. Now, in regards to, yes, he got his ass whipped. Yes, he fought the wrong fight. These are facts. He did fight the wrong fight. But again, nobody can gauge the effect of what happened. Like when I hear people say things along the lines of, well, he had such a small amount of aspirin in the system that it shouldn't have affected the fight. How do you measure that? How do you actually know this to be true? You know what I'm saying? Especially When you break down, when people cycle, when you cycle and you take steroids, you do it in a way where it can't be detected. So the fact that it was detected, you really don't know how much he was actually taking. It was just stuck in his fatty cells. So it doesn't matter whether it's a little bit that's detected or a lot. You still tested positive for a drug in a sport that people die in. Okay. And that's just the physical part of it, which is completely unfair. And Devin Haney is being critiqued for actually standing up for himself and taking this to court. Um, People are saying, "Hey, listen, he needs to go out and just avenge the loss by fighting him and doing X, Y, and Z." I do think he should fight Ryan Garcia again. I definitely agree with that. But at the same time, who's to say that Ryan won't be smarter the next time? I mean, it's one of those situations. It's like Cotto. People compare the situation of Cotto with the rap hands. I don't know if Cotto ever sued him. I know he ended up rematching him and destroying him without the plaster on his hands. This is the sport where people die. People literally die. Not get injured just to get injured, but people die in this sport. Okay. And any physical advantage that you can gain in an illegal way, you have to be punished. I thought the punishment that Ryan got was a slap on the wrist. I totally agree with the Haney family. Now you talk about you got the O back on your record. Tim, yes, that is 100% fact. But millions of people saw what transpired there. And even the promoters that paid the checks, specifically Eddie Hearn, didn't they have some type of a soft agreement where Eddie Hearn was going to be promoting him with Matchroom Boxing? And all of a sudden, that's just not on the table anymore. He can't get the amount of money that he wants. Why do you feel like he's not getting now that money? Because of the loss. And that's where punitive damages comes into the situation and unjust enrichment. He's getting more money. He's getting more. He's going to get more looks because of what transpired in that fight. He will be benefiting off of the fact that he beat him senseless in front of everybody, regardless if it's going to be on his record or not. Ryan Garcia is going to benefit. And on the flip side of that, Devin Haney is not going to benefit. In fact, he can't get the amount of money that apparently he was getting before. Devin wasn't a big money guy regardless, but he was getting a comfortable amount. He was living well. And now that has kind of came to a halt. This is all based upon what transpired on April 20th. Now, if Ryan Garcia would have beat him fair and square, there was no foul play. It is what it is. But the fact that there is, and this man's brand has taken a huge hit, that's a fact. So for Timothy Bradley to say it's a soft Charmin move, no, it's not. Suing somebody is not a soft Charmin move. And in fact, it takes a lot of balls to actually go out and do that. Okay, it really does. Listen, the mental stress that this man had to take, and coupling that with the financial loss that him and his family is going to be taken for the next few years. We don't know if he can recover from that type of a situation. We're not talking about a guy that's very exciting. We're not talking about a guy that lights up the score sheet or whatnot. You know, he wins fights. He wins them, and his biggest attraction, he was a great boxer and he was undefeated. And people seeing what transpired and everything from the antics and everything that has went down from people coming at him online, saying a bunch of different things is hurting his brand. And that's why he decided to step up and say, all right, you know what? Cool. I'm going to sue you because you hurt my brand. I don't know where or how Ryan Garcia is going to defend that situation, because at the end of the day, you know, I feel like it's obvious, and things are going to be put out there. The amount of money he was getting prior to a Ryan Garcia fight to now the offers that he's getting, that's all going to be admissible in the court of law to prove the losses in the situation. You know, I commend Devin Haney. I believe it was the right thing to do. You know, you know, and especially in our community, the hip hop community, the urban community, and whatnot, we're always looked at as if we go to court, if we do these things, we're looked at as snitches or whatever. Dude, this is how business is handled. This is how corporate America handles things. Okay, and again, Devin Haney is unfairly being attacked online for exercising his right. And he's 100% right to take this to court. I don't see, and it's just crazy how many people are not supporting this situation and calling him all types of suckers. And I've seen people call him a bitch. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, the man feels cheated in the situation. He's been affected by what transpired on that night. I watched that fight, as many people did, and I watched the look of disgust and defeat in his face. I got to see all of that. And now, months later, still hasn't got back in the ring. It hasn't got the offers that he wants. I've seen Eddie Hearn critique him. In fact, he could barely get tickets to the fight when they threw it in London. He's clearly being treated differently. And now you could say whatever, I seen the Eddie Hearn thing when he's like, oh, you should have hit me earlier. I take care of the fighters. Yeah, let's play devil's advocate. If that never transpired to where Devin Haney, let's say if Devin Haney would have won that fight, do you think he would have had trouble getting them tickets for that fight? I don't think so. Wasn't he supposed to be defending his belt versus Martin? And Eddie Hearn was supposed to be promoting that. Didn't he turn to him and say, yo, book that fight? This guy missed weight. It's all right. I'll defend my title again with this one. And he turned to Eddie and said, Eddie, set up the fight. Why isn't that happening? And it's clearly because of what transpired at that fight. Wasn't Eddie Hearn saying that this man right here was one of the best fighters in the world and the future of boxing? When has he said any of that after that fight? That's just the facts. I've seen a lot of people critique him. De La Hoya takes people to court all the time. He's threatened Canelo all the time. I don't see nobody critiquing him for the accusations that Canelo has made against him for stealing from him. Nobody says, hey, let's take it to the parking lot. Guys, business is handled different, and Devin Haney should not be critiqued for protecting his brand. Boxers are one of the lowest paid professions in the world. The average salary of a boxer, I think, is like $30,000. Who you can work at McDonald's and make more money than that. Okay, not saying Devin Haney made that type of money, but in order to work like a business or make money like a business, you have to act like a business. Devin Haney's main investment is himself. The hours of training, the promotions that he's doing everything. Listen, I cannot knock Devin Haney for doing this, and in fact, I give him a clap. And again, listen, there's four other people suing Ryan Garcia. He just beat one right now. I don't know what case they dropped or whatnot, but you're out there saying this and that, and you're soft for this. No, dude. The best way to get back a situation is to attack and get that money. That's just the facts. Do I think he should fight Ryan Garcia again? Absolutely. I would love to see the rematch. Now, do I think it's going to be a different result? I don't think so. I think Ryan still beats him. I really do. I do believe Ryan still beats him. And I do agree with Timothy Bradley in the sense of, you didn't defend. You didn't do, you kept getting hit by the same shot. But Devin Haney was winning that fight. He was until he got hit. Now, how can we tell at that point if his reflexes weren't affected by what he had taken? His power. We don't know. We don't know. You can't just take a guess. Someone like, oh, that's BS. He got caught with an eighth of a gram. You don't know. When people, and I did a research paper when I was in college about this, and I think it was Bill Romanowski. And Bill Romanowski was saying that every time the NFL would ban a substance, he would just use another substance that couldn't be detected. And that's what he would do. He said that he was on steroids his entire career and never tested positive because he would just be on top of it and nothing would come up. because if you're not able to detect a certain drug, right? If you don't know what a drug is, how can you detect it? And that's how he was able to beat it. You don't think athletes are out there enhancing themselves and doing different things? The difference is in boxing, people are dying. I don't think I can stress that enough for anybody that's actually going to listen to this or actually pay attention to what I'm saying. People are dying. They're legit dying from this. So for people to critique Devin Haney, and again, I'm not a Devin Haney fan. Let's get that out the way. I'm not a Devin Haney groupie. In fact, I was actually going for Ryan Garcia in the fight. I'm not a big Devin fan. I think he's a talented fighter. But at the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel as if people need to understand that. Like, Devin Haney is in all right to sue this individual. The amount of money that he lost is absolutely, I mean, most people living their lives don't get to see that amount of money. You know, and in boxing, a loss can really strap you financially. You can be in a situation where you're not going to see the amount of money. It's not like in boxing. Let's break down sports: boxing, football, the NBA, whatever. Right? The NBA got guaranteed contracts, and the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, I think his contract's almost like $500 million. That's guaranteed, whether he plays the Jets or he plays the Bills or whoever. It's guaranteed regardless. In boxing, you get your money based upon your draw. You get your money based upon the people wanting to see that particular fight. That's just how it works. Okay, so when you get a big money opportunity fight situation and you don't capitalize, it does affect the bottom line, which is your money. Unless you're a Canelo Alvarez who is one of a million because nobody else is able to draw what he draws, then you're not going. Nobody's seeing 80% of the gate like Canelo. Okay. Nobody's, Canelo could take a loss and still people tune in. That's just what it is. There's no Canelo Alvarez out there. Gervonta Davis is probably the closest thing in regards to bringing stuff in. And he's not even taking risks. Devin Haney was fighting the best of the best and calling out the best of the best, trying to make the bigger fights. He was out there taking the risk in order to get to these big money fights. So you got to respect Devin Haney and what he was doing. Okay. And I feel as if people are unjustly critiquing him for a lawsuit. I mean, guys, if somebody does you wrong in a business sense, okay, you have to get what's yours. Listen, I'm speaking from my own experience. I had to go and do a lawsuit for being unjustly done. Okay, I'm speaking from I've received huge criticism from people, and people just don't understand because they would never have the courage to actually do it. It's an overwhelming experience to actually go out there and go through the court system and deal with the criticism from the public, deal with the interrogations from the lawyers, and they're not respectful. Their job is to make you look like the biggest piece of shit in the world. That's just what it is. And Devin Haney happens to be a public figure. I was a public figure in the situation, had to continue to deal with the criticism, the BS, the lies, things, the narratives that people push. And that's what's being pushed upon Devin Haney right now. Calling him soft because he decided to take action and actually sue in this situation is absolutely absurd, and it's very disrespectful, especially from your peers, especially from boxers where they probably don't get what they deserve, what they should get. Canelo Alvarez has said in multiple occasions, the boxer should get the most. He's the one out there risking his life, but they don't. Promoters, everybody else is getting more money than these individuals that's boxing. And they're the ones that are out there selling the tickets. They're the ones out there that are risking their life. And you're going to sit there and tell me that Devin Haney doesn't have the right, or he's soft because he decided to sue? I think that's absolutely incredibly stupid. It's really stupid. It's just one of those things to me. And again, I relate a lot to what he's going through at this situation, because he is getting attacked by his peers, people that he grew up watching. People attack him. These are all things that are probably going to help him in his case, simply because they're people that are talking down on his brand. And it's all because of what transpired on April 20th. Prior to what transpired on April 20th, there was not a publication that was knocking Devin. In fact, everybody was calling him the future of boxing. And that's the crazy thing. Shout out to my man Hype Man in the building. My bad, Hype Man, for not being consistent, but I promise you that's going to change. Most people don't understand situations until the shoe's on the other foot. And you know what's crazy, Hype Man? You say that even when the shoe's on the other foot, they don't have the courage. I remember watching somebody come out there and say he didn't want to sue a certain organization because he didn't want to look like a snitch. And I sat there and I watched, and I thought that was one of the most telling and stupid things I've ever heard come out of the mouth of a person. Okay? And it's just unfortunate that so many people are just out there like, oh man, he should just get his get back and get in the ring. And I'm just like, dude, there's no guarantee he's gonna even get paid what he feels like he rightfully deserves. Where's the endorsements? Where's all of these promoters that were looking to book Devin Haney? Are they out there right now? He couldn't even get tickets to a fight in London. He's Devin Haney. The shit was public for him to get tickets to an event. He was called immature and rude. He wasn't priority. His fighters, I don't owe nothing to you. But prior to that was being called the face of this, and you were working with that individual. And again, I don't know the gist of that relationship or what transpired, but I do recall him being treated with high regard by that same individual that did not have tickets for him at that event. You know what I mean? I don't know Devin personally, but is he getting looked at, treated differently? Absolutely. Will he be able to bounce back from what people are saying? I don't know. I take my hat off to Devin, and I think people need to stop critiquing Devin Haney for exercising his every right. You can't sit there and say that his brand has not been hurt by that event. You can't. You know what I mean? So to me, I just wanted to get that off my chest in regards to Devin Haney. And again, listen, I'm speaking from a place of familiarity. Oh, I can't even say it. Okay. People were attacked. To this day, they still attack me for exercising my right, for going to the court system. So I know exactly what Devin is facing. You get in a situation, and then just going to in the mind of Devin Haney, you're lost. You're questioning everything around you. You're hurt. You're embarrassed. Okay. Now the same people that were patting you on the back are kicking you in your behind. This is what happens. You know, and I'm just speaking from what I felt in a similar situation where I felt when I had to defend myself in regards to going to court. And the crazy thing is, a couple of the stuff that he's suing for are the same things that I was. So I know exactly where Devin is coming from in regards to that. Emotionally, he took a loss in front of a lot of people. Emotionally, I did the same. I had to deal with it. I had to deal with people saying things that weren't true. I had to deal with criticism. I had to deal with being the enemy. I had to deal with, to this day, of people blaming me for that organization in the state that they're in. Okay. He's not a guy that can just disappear. He's a recognizable figure. He's a more recognizable figure than I am. So, to be honest, he has it harder. More people seen what happened to him than what happened to me. Okay? So I definitely feel what Devin Haney is going through. And honestly, he's in his every right to do whatever. And again, the same media that was praising him are now trying to tear him down. I dealt with that. I felt that. I had to swallow that pill. And it wasn't easy. Okay? It wasn't easy. This is how Devin makes money. That's how I was making money. So when people try to downplay him for being cheated of what he worked for, I totally understand where he's coming from. I know a lot of people I've seen say, I think it's corny. I think it's soft. I think it's that. And I'm sitting there like, you guys are judging somebody without actually understanding what transpired that night. He put his life on the line. He put his belt on the line. He put his legacy on the line to find out that somebody actually cheated. Then made a joke about it. Then laughed about it. Then got a slap on the wrist about it. And it's still making money off appearances from the defeat. Ryan Garcia's money didn't stop. You don't think he's getting paid for showing up to places? You don't think he can fight an exhibition fight? He can still make money and make a lot of it. Because he wasn't the one that was cheated in that situation. And it's crazy. And I got nothing personal against Ryan Garcia. I actually like Ryan. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Again, I'm speaking from experience. I know what he's feeling in regards to being on top of the world and now everybody kicking you while you're down. And it probably hurts most when it's your peers that at one point loved you or valued you. But now they don't need you. You're damaged goods. Everything that he's sold for, in my opinion, is legit. And I don't have 1 ounce of doubt that he should be doing this. And again, shout out to Bill Haney. Shout out to Devin Haney for going about it the way they're going about it. Listen, if you want to be a business, you better act like a business. And there's one thing that I've been impressed with the Haneys is how they've done this on their own, promoting. Again, nobody does everything right. But how Bill was able to get Devin and Devin was able to get to where he's at today is impressive. It's impressive. But for that all to be taken away or to take a hit because somebody cheated, it's not right. It just isn't right. Why did Ryan post on Twitter say he won the case? No, that's not what he did. He's being sued by multiple people. I think it's like 4 different situations. So let me break this down to you guys real quick because, and this is no slight to Ivan, this is no diss to you, but I think people don't understand how the legal system goes. When you file, you don't go right away to see the judge. It takes a little bit of while. It takes, setting up the case. When the dates and stuff gets pushed back, there's a lot of different tactics that go along with lawyers and finding representation. Now this lawyer, he's getting sued by like 4 different people. So now that lawyer, let's say if he's being represented by the same lawyer, or it depends on what type of cases they are. Certain lawyers represent different things. But let's just say he's being sued by 4 different people. Each of those cases are separate. So you need to address each one in a different court of law or a different, it's a different case. It's not all in one. So when he filed, it was September 26th. Ain't no way. Probably what had transpired, and again, I didn't read what happened. One of the other cases that he was facing, I don't know which one it was because he didn't make it public. You can look up the records. Probably didn't pursue it or it got dismissed. There wasn't enough evidence. But they have not even began to show the evidence. Devin is is going to probably subpoena guys like Eddie Hearn and you know, Ticketmaster and whoever. It's gonna be a shit show. We're probably looking at, by the time they stand in front of a judge, we're probably looking at, so we're in September, he filed. We're probably looking at sometime in 2025 when they have the initial hearing with the judge, and then they'll start making dates for discovery and all of these different things. So that case is completely different. What Ryan Garcia actually was talking about had nothing to do with Devin's case. It was a different case. But I think he did that to kind of show strength. Like, my lawyer's already got this kicked out. You're next. So that's what I believe he did. But in reality, and this is just real talk, that case is far from over. He's going to be dealing with this probably for a couple of years. Again, he just filed. They'll probably have a hearing the earliest, I'll say November, because once December hits, you got the holidays. You know what I mean? And I don't even think they'll have a hearing in November. You might get a hearing in January. And that hearing is to hear out both sides, and then they'll start working on dates for discovery. And then, bro, it takes a process. And lawyers like to push it back. Oh, we have this. Can we get this? Can we get extension on that? There's going to be a lot of legal stuff that's going to extend this case longer. Now, again, it all depends on how long Ryan Garcia wants to continue to spend money in this situation, okay? Will Ryan Garcia fight this all the way to the end? Remember, as you're fighting this, you're still paying these lawyers, and that's not going to be deducted off of what you lose. So it could be a situation where Ryan says, let me settle out of court. It might be more beneficial for him to pay in a situation than just continue to fight it, because he could lose a lot more. You could get a judgment. We don't even know. It could be 10, 50. It could be anything. I don't know, especially when it comes to punitive damages. I don't think I could be wrong. I don't think there's a cap on punitive damages. And it all depends on what Devin Haney can prove, and that's what's going to come out in discovery. It's going to be extremely interesting. Hyman says, so my wonder is, after the case is over, goes how Devin wants it to go. What happens next for Devin to get back where he was? I mean, it's going to be tough. I don't know if Devin can actually get back to where he was. He's not a very exciting fighter. He's taking that loss to the public. Mentally, we don't know where he is. We all knew Devin was a great boxer, but again, a lot of boxers take that loss, regardless if it's on your record or not, and don't recover from that. Okay, and mentally, we don't necessarily know how he's going to recover from that. We don't know if Devin will ever be the same fighter. In terms of financially, we don't know. Listen, this is a relationship-based situation. If a promoter, like, again, Eddie Hearn was very high on him before. Now it's maybe not so much. Eddie's not going to offer him a bunch of money if people don't want to see him fight. So that's what he's suing for. And he's like, I can't even get these guys to answer the phone anymore. I can't get the amount of money that I wanted. So in regards to financially, it would take him really getting back in that ring and knocking people out. And that's something that Devin doesn't do. But it's going to take a while. I don't think the image of Ryan Garcia standing over him after he knocked it down is going to erase from people's heads. So it's going to be very difficult for him to get back in that aspect. My man Ivan says, correct, but he said it was dismissed, meaning the judge didn't even take the case serious. Ivan, that case, he didn't specifically say. That case, so today is October 9th, okay? He filed September 27th. It's not even in front of the judge. They're still picking who judges gets assigned to. That case is ongoing. He's being sued by 4 different people. It's 4 different people he's getting sued by. So that's a completely different case. This case that you're referring to is not. It is going to be taken serious. And if you don't think it's going to be taken serious, Ivan, I got something to tell you. It will be, because it's a civil case based upon somebody that publicly has made a jackass out of themselves, as well as made a boatload of money in the situation, and has publicly actually admitted to cheating. When he took the plea deal with the New York State Athletic Commission, he pleaded guilty. He cheated. So in reality, when you sign these contracts, you're not signing them with knowing or possibly this guy being tested for roids. You know what I'm saying? So no, that case has not even been brought to they haven't even met yet for that case. They still have to have a hearing. There's a lot of shit. When I was going through my legal case, I I filed September 8th or September 10th. I don't remember. It was the day after my birthday. Okay. Um and I think we had I want to say the first hearing was probably like October. No, it was probably like November. It could have been early January. I don't remember. And it was just to basically, you know, say what was going to go on, and people make that little things and whatnot, and then it goes from there. To be honest, Ivan said, "I know you're right." I'm saying Ryan was playing mind games with the public. Absolutely, Ryan is trying to look strong in the situation to make it look like this isn't valid, or he wants to say, "Look, I already won one case, 3 to go, no sweat off my back." He's sweating. He's sweating. Don't get it twisted. Ryan Garcia's sweating. This is very serious. He can lose a lot of money. I mean, he could definitely box and get something back, but it's serious. This is very serious. But again, in the public eye, when you're going through these things, you want to look as strong as possible, especially when you're the one being sued. So if I'm suing you, you're gonna want to make it look like I'm good, because you don't want people to doubt you or your brand, or for you to have any self-doubt, because you don't want to look like you did nothing wrong. I don't see a situation where Ryan can actually feel like he did it, because he already admitted to being on Osterman. He admitted to the test. So you're gonna say a bunch of things. I'm good. I ain't worried. My lawyers got this. They already got this kicked out of court. But behind the scenes, believe you me, he's sweating. And when they start deposing him, and when they start throwing out numbers, and I don't even think Devin Haney actually even posted the amount of money he was suing for. To be honest with you, when you start seeing that type of talk and what you could possibly lose and what can happen to you, oh, believe you me, he is definitely going to be facing that, and he will be considering settling. He will, because it's just a lot that you can lose. And again, like I told you guys, you're paying out your ass at this point. Like, every time that lawyer has to respond or write something in regards to you, answer a fucking email, answer your phone call, they are ringing up that bill. You don't think that these lawyers are sitting there like, man, this is Ryan Garcia and this is Devin Haney. They got money. Every little thing that we're going to do, we are going to charge them for. So this is going to be a situation where not only are the lawyers going to be trying to get as much out of the situation as possible, okay? They're going to try to extend it as long as they can, because the longer the case goes, the more money for the lawyers. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia probably going to want to get that out of the way as soon as possible. He's probably going to file I forgot what it's called, but basically to get the case dismissed. It's not going to get dismissed. He's going to have enough evidence in order to move forward for discovery. And every time they got to call a witness to discover, that's $40,000. That's another $50,000 here. They got to respond to this complaint, another 50. And remember, Ryan Garcia is dealing with multiple cases, so every case gets handled individually. He might get a discount or something because he has so much work this guy's getting. But at the end of the day, everything that individual, that law firm is doing for Ryan Garcia, they are going to be getting paid in that situation. So it's going to be like a war of attrition at this point. How much money is Ryan Garcia willing to lose in this situation to defend himself? Especially having multiple suits on you, you're going to have to pay that. It's a lot of money. Ivan says, do you think after the suspension, Ryan will command the same payday as before or more? Yeah, Ryan Garcia, he sells tickets. He's going to get the money. He's popular. Promoters, they don't care about him being on Osterman or anything. All they care about is getting the amount of money and getting paid. And the one thing that Ryan Garcia does is get money. People want to see him. He has a fan base. I've seen people actually knocking Devin Haney and he's not the one that tested positive for Osterin. I've seen more support for Ryan Garcia than him. So he's definitely going to get the same amount. He might get more. Bro, I seen him talking about he was going to fight somebody in Japan. Listen, he's going to get more. He's a draw. He is a draw. Said Ryan. My man says Ryan is a cheater and popularity carrying. Absolutely, but this is boxing. Boxing is about the draw. So he's going to get the money. I don't see Devin doing that. I don't see people like, hey, Devin, we're going to give you $10 million. No. Devin is looked at as damaged goods, and that's why he's suing. Ryan Garcia is unjustly benefiting off of his victory from Devin Haney, and that's what he's suing for, unjust enrichment. This is what it is, guys. This is the thing. But in regards to, back to what you were saying about him publicly making a stance of, he got dismissed. He's just trying to show confidence, and you may try to play mind games with Devin in the sense where it's like, well, you already see my lawyers already got this out the way. You're next. It's not as simple as that, bro. The case with Devin Haney has, in my opinion, more than enough to take it all the way in terms of he has more than enough. And he's going to show financial records. He's going to show the test being positive. And this man now, and the thing is, they're going to subpoena every promoter that has offered Ryan Garcia, whether it's endorsements or upcoming fights, potential upcoming fights. What Golden Boy views it's going to be a lot of things. Whatever he's making money off of, that people are going to get subpoenaed. It's going to be a lot of De La Hoya's going to get subpoenaed. There's going to be a lot of people subpoenaing Ryan Garcia's people and camps, and Eddie Hearn will probably get subpoenaed. It's going to be bad. So Ryan Garcia has to gauge. He has to figure out how far he wants this to actually go. And that's the truth. And again, money. It's gonna come down to money. I don't know how much money Ryan has, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. You fight 3, 4, 5 cases, you're paying. You're paying some good money. So it's gonna be interesting. And Golden Boy's not gonna pay his lawyer fees. Crazy the money went to Golden Boy when it should have went to Devin. I found that extremely weird too. Devin Haney did get some money out of the situation, but $1.2 million went to Golden Boy, or a percentage of that, which to me it made no sense. I thought it was a sham from the get-go, and I think that's also something that'll be investigated in that situation as to why did Golden Boy get $1.2 million who were a part of Ryan's camp. It didn't make any sense to me. TMR Podcast, what up? It really didn't make any sense to me, but again, I think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, it's going to drag on for a while. It might even lead to them not even fighting in April, which I think would be dope for them to fight in April. But I think what possibly might happen is, in order for Devin to agree to that fight, I think they're probably going to do something to where the fight would have to the case in court would have to be dropped in order for Ryan to continue to even help Devin make money. And I think that's something that could actually slow the fight down from happening. It might stop it from happening in total, because I don't see Ryan Garcia agreeing to a fight if there's a lawsuit still pending. I think Ryan Garcia would probably ask them to drop the case in order for them to make the fight happen, and I just don't see Devin doing that. I really don't. Who I have, I got Bivol. I think he's gonna make a fight. Ryan better stop promoting a fight against Rolly Romero to cover his upcoming expenses. Well, he has to wait to April. He has to wait to April 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think Ryan is definitely be back, but we're gonna see. What do you think about Teofimo baiting? I think that was baiting Crawford into a fight. I think Tio's very smart. I think Tio wants the big fights. He wants to be. He's not a guy that runs away from the big moment or the guys that are believed to be the best. I don't believe Terrence Crawford will take the fight. I think he's done. Um, and then I listen. If Boots couldn't get the fight, I don't think Teofimo can. And again, I don't even think. And I'm a Teofimo fan. I find it hard to to uh, to see if to believe that Teofimo can actually beat him. But I think Crawford is really locked in on trying to get Canelo and getting that big bag and then retiring. I don't think he's really interested in fighting anybody like Teofimo, like a Bud Crawford. I mean, like a Boots Ennis. I think he's going to try to get to 168 to Canelo. I think he really believes he can get to Canelo, and I think that'll be his last stop, and then he retires. Um, and that's how I feel. I don't think he's going to respond to Teofimo. I would like to see the fight. I love seeing fighters challenge themselves, and I totally respect Teofimo Lopez for wanting to make that fight happen. And Crawford turning down the McGregor circus. I mean, listen. If it was just a boxing match, I think Crawford would have taken it for 100 million. But the fact that you're trying to get him one boxing and one MMA, there's a very slim chance that Crawford beats McGregor in the octagon, right? Um, and Crawford is smart enough to know that most likely he's gonna lose that. He's gonna lose that fight, and that'll hurt his stock. But I don't see Crawford taking that. I think if it's just solely a boxing match, I think that he'll do it. But I don't believe he'll do it if it's got to be in the octagon. I wouldn't. If I was advising, I wouldn't do it. Man, what do you think about Tiffany race baiting Crawford into a fight? Race baiting? You're talking about how is he race baiting him? Are you talking about the comment where he said whatever monkey wants a banana or some shit like that? I think it was a bad choice of words. I don't think Teofimo's racist. But I think this day and age, I think people try to make everything into a race thing. I will say this: I think Teofimo and his father have definitely said some suspect things. In fact, I think Keyshawn Davis, I think it was Keyshawn Davis, came out and said that they had beat up Teofimo's dad for saying something racist and all that stuff. So there's been a lot of things said about Teofimo and his dad in regards to racial sensitivity and things of that nature. So I don't know Teofimo personally. Have they said anything that you could kind of look at like, that was definitely a bad choice of words in my opinion. But I don't believe Teofimo's a racist, to be honest with you. But again, I don't know Teofimo. Crawford has a wrestling background and McGregor is weak against wrestlers. I really think Crawford has a chance in both fights. He does have a wrestling background, but it's the experience of being in that octagon, bro. It's the fact that you have to fight a completely different style. You can't fight as a boxer when there's takedowns and things of that nature. Again, yeah, he has a wrestling background. I think he was in high school or something. That was 20 years ago. Everybody has a chance. You got a puncher's chance, you have whatever. But I just think that business-wise, it would be a stupid play on Bud Crawford to do that. Even though McGregor is the bigger name, okay, it would be a mistake on Crawford's part to go into the octagon. Now, if McGregor wants to do a fight where it's just a boxing match, it makes a lot more sense because Terrence Crawford's going to knock him out. Like, it's going to be bad. Like, it won't even be close. Member says, I don't think Teal racist. He's just trying to book a fight. I don't think Teal's racist. But at the end of the day, in this day and age, in the cancel culture, you have to be very careful as to what you state. And I've seen a lot of boxers call him out on it, and I don't know, man. And again, I'm from New York City, so using the N word and saying certain things fly in certain areas. And I remember going to the South and being as pale skinned as I am and saying the N word. And I remember a couple at a gas station in DC came up to me, and I'm in the gas station with me and two of my boys, both Puerto Rican, and I'm saying N word this and N word that. And I remember the couple came up to me, and they were like, "Excuse me, sir," and they had to be like in the 60s. And she said something along the lines of, "You guys say that very freely, that word." And she said a couple more things to me. She was very polite about the situation, and it kind of really like damn, right? I feel like we as people have to definitely uh, understand that just because it's accepted around your peers, it's not accepted everywhere. So I think Tio needs to understand that. I think he needs to do a better job of that, of understanding where he is and what he's saying. Dark Lord said, I don't think people realize how hard MMA is. Once you get inside the octagon, it's a different world. If you're not able to KO your opponent quick, you're in deep trouble. Those leg kicks are no joke. 100% Dark Cloud. I mean, listen, I was watching I'm not a big UFC guy. I was watching the UFC this weekend. And yeah, it's completely different. It's an art. It's grappling. It's leg kicks. It's the things that boxers aren't accustomed to seeing. And just because you have experience, it's like saying, "Hey, listen, this is an example. I don't know. What's his name? Peyton Manning used to play basketball in high school. Eli Manning used to play basketball in high school, and then you put him against an NBA player. Just because he used to play it doesn't mean he could play it at that level. You know what I mean? They're professions for a reason. You know what I mean? Same thing when I've seen the LeBron thing. LeBron can play in the NFL. That doesn't mean LeBron can go to the NFL right now and bang with those guys. It's a completely different sport. He's not going to dominate. It takes dedication. It takes understanding what the MMA is and what the UFC is. And there's a respect for it. Just because you have an experience in wrestling doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate to everything. I mean, it's a dangerous gamble if Terrence Crawford were to do that. These guys are professionals, man. I was very impressed watching the fights this weekend and seeing how tactful is it and the different styles, the takedowns, the leg kicks. I seen, bro, like think about it. In boxing, it's either a left or a right, an uppercut, a hook, whatever. In UFC, you can be tapped. It can be it could be a submission. It could be a punch to it. It could be an uppercut. It could be a kick to the fucking head. It could be a spin kick. It could be it's a lot of different ways to win a fight. And I didn't really have an appreciation of the UFC. I'm a big boxer fan, but you're guarding against somebody punching you in boxing. All right, uppercut, speed, different, whatever. In UFC, you got to understand that he could feint with the left, and you used to, let's say, in boxing you feint and then you throw the right. You could feint and a kick will come. Like boxers aren't used to seeing guys kick him to the face, so it's definitely a different animal. Even the takedowns, it's an art form to be on the floor, and understanding how to fight from the floor. It's not something that it's natural to people, and especially boxers. Boxers are used to being on their 2 feet when they hit the ground, and they're not used to coming back up and fighting well. Like it's a different ball game. You know what I mean? Do we look at Crawford different for losing an MMA match? I think you would. I really do believe you would. I don't think you should, but I think you would. I think a lot of people have they look at Crawford as invincible right now. He's undefeated in boxing. He's this, he's that. Losing in the UFC will definitely hurt his stock. Even Canelo said, you think Canelo Alvarez is going to go over there? Like, hell no. Even Canelo's like, it's a different ballgame. You're not used to dealing with the kicks and this and that. So it's completely different. Completely. If they fight at 147, hydration close on McGregor, I really think Crawford has a chance. Well, man, listen, I'm not saying he don't have a chance. If he catches him, whatever, but takedowns and having experience as a wrestler and actually being a UFC fighter are, in my opinion, two completely different things. These guys are trained to fight on the floor, submission holds. It's definitely a lot. I will say this. If anybody could do it in boxing, it would be Terrence Crawford. I'll say that. I think it would be. They say Terrence Crawford is a bad man. Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's a good fighter. I mean, I feel like people kind of I don't have him as my top 5 fighter, and I think it's because he hasn't fought the best of the best or whatnot. That's how I feel, but I think he's in my top 5. But you know, Crawford has a lot. I think it's a lot for him to prove in boxing like that. I think you still got boots there. You got Virgil Ortiz. You got Tim Tszyu at 154. You got the Charlos at 154. I think there's a lot he can still prove in boxing. I don't think he's run through everyone. So, you know, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't think Crawford wants to. Um, I don't think. I think Crawford knows he's at the end of his career. I don't know how. I think Crawford's about like 37 right now. I don't know how Terence Crawford is. So I don't think he fights much longer. I think he's looking for the big paycheck and he's out. Crawford only loses at 165 plus in boxing. Um, I'd like to see him fight Boots. I'm not gonna sit here and say he walks through Boots. I like Boots a lot. So I think Boots gives him a good fight. I'd like to see Virgil Ortiz fight him at 154. I'd like to see Tim Tszyu fight him at 154. I think there's some really, really good challenges for Terence Crawford at 154. Definitely better than at 147 outside of Errol Spence. But I think there's a lot of challenging fights at 154 for Bud Crawford. I think if he's able, I don't even look at Fundora as a big challenge. I think he beat Fundora. I think the height is crazy, but Fundora has been slept bad, and I think there's a lot for Bud Crawford to prove. But on that note, guys, I'm out of here. It's your boy Norbs. Every Wednesday I go live. I might go live tonight at around 10 p.m. I'm gonna be testing my new software, changing up how the show's gonna look. It's gonna be super dope. Stay tuned. We're about to start going crazy on the show. It's your boy Norbs, and we are out.